in Birnin Kebbi, and we are looking at the question of food smuggling and the impact it is having on food availability and consequently price. No doubt you've also heard experts say that, well, it's not as if there's a scarcity of food. People should not be saying that. The problem is there's a scarcity of money with which to procure the food. Well, federal government has been intercepting 141 grain trucks in the past 2 weeks. Customs have seized over 120, smuggled grain, smuggling grain trucks. We've all been reading about this. And our guest, Bello Alkali, has been, asserting that this will have a definite impact. But then what's the way out? These things are linked. There's the problem, well, let me say, the challenge all Nigerians, high and low, are facing about the removal of subsidy on fuel. Somebody just called in, Yahoo called in from Adamawa, complaining, observing but also complaining about the price of fuel that farmers do need. Now, Mr. Alkali, we have to go to mechanized farming. I was reading somewhere that the federal government has arranged for what? About 10,000 tractors to come in over the next 5 years. These are the kind of plans that indeed will be beneficial to the objective of moving beyond subsistence. But that is not to wipe out subsistence. Well, not so much subsistence as smallholder. You said you yourself were a farmer once, but you had to quit the field when it was getting to be impossible. So if it was not impossible, in addition to what you and farmers like you would have been doing, after all, you are chief lecturer, but you were also a farmer. This reminds me of the Obasanjo era, when he wanted everybody to be a farmer. Lecturer or doctor or teacher or businessman, be a farmer as well. We could use all the food that we could get. But now the situation is the way it is. Okay, I'm being told that we have a phone call. I now just need to wait to hear who the phone call is.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I'm going to... Adebo Wale is calling in. Good morning, Mr. Adebo Wale.
Good morning. I'm very happy to have gone in. I must thank your guest, but he made a few suggestions that we are not looking at.
Okay.
Now, the first aspect, which I think is a priority, is to think that the federal government is responsible for agri. Now, every area is localized. The land is different. What you can grow in the different areas is different. Now, one of the things that we also will know is that which was practiced a number of years ago, even in Lagos and all that. You see, it's a business, it's a management business. It's something like he said, he had to get out of it because he could not afford it. Now, the federal government can come in terms of tractors, in terms of, you need the mechanized area. And he talked about the fact that what you need is that they have to hire it. But initially, they can provide it free for them because it's federal government that is. Then the state government will have to be in charge of this to determine what can grow on their soil. Now, what is happening at the moment is that everything is so disorganized. Now, he talked about provision of the irrigation system. That also has to be provided. One of the things that we also don't look at is that the access of the road from the farms, which is so important. Now, the way I look at this is that we should determine and buy the type of machinery. The fact that you buy tractors, it may not be the tractor that is good for cassava. That is the one that you use for tomato. And it's right from the planting stage to the reaping of that's the way it's done. Now you buy the machinery. Now later on you can ask them to it's a type of they have to pay for it. Then the one important area which I think it didn't talk about is the fact that there's always the research unit where they buy the improved seedlings. That those improved seedlings are sold to them at a relatively cheaper rate, so that and the people is a research unit like a university, a research unit, where they make research into the type of soil, the type of herbicide. They go to visit the farms. These are areas the government has to be involved. But the fact that we keep everything to federal government, the federal government hasn't got land. But the states themselves should be particular, and then as you said, these are all peasant farmers, but you got to let them know that these areas you want to clear, which you have been doing for about maybe throughout 3 months, I will do it for you in just half a day, and they see it. They are going to be happy about it. You do it and you plant the seed. I think Greek has not been focused properly. Let's stop looking at federal government to do everything. I think we should go down the level, even up to the local government area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adebowale, for calling in. Let me invite Mr. Alkali to comment on that. He spoke, among other things, about research institutes, organizations, that, by the time you bring a scientific approach to all of this, it will improve our yield and all of that. What would be your commentary on Mr. Adebowale's submissions that too much was being pushed to the federal government as opposed to the state governments, even local governments, standing up to be counted?
I agree with Mr. Ade in totality. All what he said is correct. The federal government should do its own part, while the state government should also do its own part. I told you earlier that a fuel station can be kept just for farmers. The state government can subsidize the fuel only for the farmers. You come with your gallon, we know you are from. You know where you come with your machine, the watering machine. You come with it, fill it at social price. And each local government should have a filling station for that. We know the farmers, we know them. We know the fake farmers, we know the good farmers, we know the land. So what Ade said is correct, 100%. Everybody should do its own share of raw. It's issue of raw. Federal government can provide the funds. State government can add over it, give it to farmers. Like he said, the research institutions. Since I was born, there was a research institution in Birnin Kebbi, Rice Research Institute. As old as I am, it is still there. We have all the types of improved seeds. We can produce rice just like that of Kamboja or any Otela rice. If you see the rice we produce now and the good meals we have, you think it is a foreign rice. No difference at all. The rice that have done its own work and is still doing, but the issue is watering.
Okay.
The rice needs a lot of water, more than any other crop. More than any other crop. So all we need is how to water the rice.
All right.
Irrigation.
Yes, as you said.
So,
you brought this up before, as you said. And just to keep our conversation in the perspective of smuggling, the role of smuggling and food insecurity, which you stated at the very, very top of the program, had a very great impact. It was Ada in Jos who called in and said, look, she's been hearing about this smuggling issue, borders being porous, for as long as she can remember. Many Nigerians will say that as well. Because all the measures that we're talking about now, people that have contributed, Yahoo contributed his own, you have given us some insights, Ada has spoken. So let's say even all of this is working the way it's supposed to be working. At the end of the day, if farmers or people who are transporting this produce make a beeline for the borders, then it's like all of it has been in vain. But the fact that we're hearing 141 grain trucks, this is not something that you can slip in your pocket and hope to beat customs. And so that's the part of it that will be boggling the minds of people, that porous borders, but 141 trucks in the past 2 weeks have been intercepted. So if everything else works, improve seedlings and all of that, and we get better output, all of it now heading for the border, if we're to concentrate for a moment on that, how much more can be done, given that people tell us you can't police every meter of the border.
Yes, you can't police every meter of the border, but there's an Iranian embassy in Nigeria. Even Russia is buying drones from Iran. Let us go to Iran, buy the drones. Let's secure our border. Any smuggling, they will inform the police, or the custom, or the immigration, or the SSS. Only drones can do that. You can only use technology to stop smuggling now. Because the trucks, they go on third road. Only the small vehicles go anywhere and get out. But the trucks, as heavy as they are, they go on the main road. So any truck that goes into Niger is deliberately allowed to go into Niger by the customs and the police and the SS. They are all there. Recently, I went to Bello for a marriage ceremony. They are all there. And they just turn a blind eye and allow them. There's a price for everything. I'm sorry to say. So no truck can go on a rough road or a footpath to Niger. They go on a tar road to Niger. And they cross the Nigerian border, they cross the Nigerian border and enter. They pay the price. Because our area is very sandy. Any heavy vehicle can no go on a rough road. No heavy vehicle can go on a rough road. You go on the main road. So there is no rocket science about it. We know what is going on. We know.
Indeed.
If you want to buy an offer of custom, it cost you a lot of money to get on.
And what is going on, we, as you say, cryptically, we know what is going on. And what appears to be going on is there are those who are working against the purpose, the desired purpose, which is sufficiency, full sufficiency here. We're nowhere near that yet. But even the little the inroad that we have made, there are those who clearly don't care about that. If you want, it might sound trite to say that they're not being patriotic, but the ease with which they are able to continue their unpatriotic acts is what sort of frustrates people like Ada, who called in earlier. Say, but this same story now, if we know that we have these bad guys among us, what can be done? I think there was a time, I think it was the interest of fuel, that kind of a thing. This was in the Buhari regime. They actually closed the border among other, they actually closed the border. But there was an outcry over that. So it looks like between the devil and the deep blue sea. How can this really be managed? You just said it. No footpath, can take a truck to where they want to go. So they are using roads. And as you said, cryptically, we know what's going on. How can that which is going on be scuttled?
I agree with you. It's just lack of patriotism. If we are able to inculcate discipline in our younger ones, because we, the older ones, are corrupt, we are finished. Look at how ministers are being caught with billions. So the older ones are terribly corrupt. Let us inculcate discipline, patriotism. I think Shagari had a physical revolution. Buhari had a war against indiscipline. Let us somehow replicate something like that. Let us install discipline in our youth. Let us be patriotic. Only patriotism can stop this ugly menace of smuggling. Once we are patriotic, it's finished. Let us instill discipline in our primary school children, in our secondary school children, because I'm going from you. Discipline and patriotism is the key word, is the key. But once you like it, to hell with anything. Once I can get my money and protect it for my children's school, I'm happy. So the key thing is patriotism. Let us have an ethical revolution, a war against indiscipline. Let us be patriotic. Let us respect our flag.
Well,
let us respect our flag.
Mr. Alkali, this would appear to be knocking at the doors of the National Orientation Agency that many have complained have not been seen up and about, going about their duties. But in the meantime, let me, good morning, Mr. Isaac, calling in from Abuja. Isaac in Abuja, good morning.
Good morning.
Isaac, if you can hear me, please go on. Isaac, go on now.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Are you hearing me?
Good morning, sir. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much for permitting me to call on you on this issue of smuggling and
Food insecurity. Yes.
Are you hearing me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
When you are having smuggling of an item from your home, one thing is that we should know is that it's not enough. That's why we are having it to be, we are having people smuggling it out. If you have enough, you will not have, even if they are being smuggled out of your country, you will still have security of food within. I want to appeal to our religious leaders to religiously, the way they are building schools, building universities, and building infrastructures all over the country, that they should also religiously build, they should embark on mechanized farming. And as they are giving their members words and preaching, they should also give them something to eat. They should not just be giving them, preaching to them and then buying them to go home, and then getting home and then having to be thinking of hunger every time and food insecurity. So if we have religious leaders that are committed to mechanized farming, I can give you an example. Several years ago, in the 90s, when I used to listen to some of these overseas preachers, I know one preacher that used to come to Nigeria, almost even he still comes every year. His name is Kenneth Copeland. He brought out he said when he had crisis with his food in his farm, he brought out 5 cards and he spread it over the farm. And the farm started yielding. In Nigeria here, we don't have religious leaders who can confidently tell us that they have such large-scale farming. We are copying good things from America about religion. We are copying good things from the East, from about Islam. But we are not copying what they are doing to get food security within here. Let's have our religious leaders coming to tell us with all, they should come out and be able to tell us proudly that, look, I have this farm, I have this farm, I have this farm. Not like they are saying they have such here and there. They should have large-scale farming, and then from that farming, they should be able to, give us factories, big factories that will produce. And then we'll have enough. We have more than enough. And there'll be no need to be talking of food insecurity.
Okay.
Much less of talking about smuggling.
Okay.
Thank you, Uncle Yori. I'm very grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Isaac, for calling in. The main point there that you sort of illustrated is that, look, even with smuggling, if we have enough to satisfy our needs here, it will then be a matter of policing the borders and customs and not, pinging on food insecurity. Yeah, I take what you're saying. And you went on to explain that, look, as our guest has been saying and others, that the thing is to get into mechanized industrial level farming. And, one can take that. But, Mr. Alkali, I remember here that in the Bukola Saraki era as governor of Kwara State, that was also something on that government's mind to the extent that they brought in, I believe, where did they come from? Were they Jews who came from abroad? The whole idea was to bring their whole technology and all that it entailed to Kwara State, and we will begin to see a revolution. Right now, something like that, something akin to that is going on in Ogun State. But going back to the Bukola Saraki era as governor of Kwara State, we don't seem to be hearing much more about that. Do you have any ideas of what happened, what went wrong, why that didn't catch on?
The problem in Nigeria is continuity. If, for example, here in Kebbi State, somebody came, he marked some area that he wanted to invest $4 billion in sugarcane plantation during Kingari's government. But immediately Atiku Bagudu came in, the present minister of budget, he stopped it and we did not benefit from it. So this is our main problem. If this government started something good, if another one comes in, to stop it. Because all the arrangements have been done with the other government. So there is no much benefit. Because these politicians, I must confess, they are not patriotic. They are not patriotic. They are self-centered. They are self-centered. So otherwise, the way Bukla Saraki invited the Israelis,
That's right.
and everybody knows they are good in agriculture. They are exceptionally good. But immediately he's left. His appointed government didn't continue with that program. He didn't. Even here in Kebbi State, so many Chinese were brought to develop agriculture, but I don't know about them anymore. So it's the continuity that is our own problem. The continuity. If you observe, some of the programs of Buhari have already been stopped. The new ones are coming up. So we always don't. You go to America, whether it is democratic government or a Republican, it is the same policy that will continue. They hate Palestine, they hate Palestine.
Yeah.
Whoever comes on board.
Yeah.
So they have their own development plan. No matter who comes in, must follow it religiously. But here, once you bring something good, the next one will turn the other way and look at others and bring his own people that he wants to do it for them. But the continuity is our main problem. We don't have development plans that are followed religiously. If we should follow, Obasanjo did his own Operation Feed the Nation.
Yes. Yes.
Shagari had a green regulatory. I'm sure Shagari brought over 1 million tractors from Romania during Green Revolution. Where is it? That's true.
Well,
So our own problem is change of government, change of policy. Change of government, change of policy. That lack of continuity is also a canker worm in our society.
It's one of the bane we bear in this society. And I'm sure, Mr. Alkali, you would have heard of an operation in Ogun State, if I'm not mistaken, Milking or something like that. Milking, I believe it is. This is a private sector, it's a private concern. All the government did was to provide them with the infrastructure, with the facilities, but they came in as major investors. And I believe that they are more concerned with, what is that aspect of agriculture now? Animal husbandry, Yeah, yes. But the scope is fantabulous, as you must know already. The grains, they are busy, they have hectares of farmland. So everything is like a turnkey, self-operating kind of an operation. Now, there are many Nigerians, at least if you were to go on the internet now and Google Nigerian billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires, you'd come up with more than a handful. These people are not investing in this kind of thing. And that is the problem. You wanted to do your little bit for agriculture, you had to run away from it because of no. But billionaires surely would have a bit more power and a bit more creativity to tackle those solutions. But the Nigerian himself, it has been mentioned that you leave everything to the federal government. The Nigerian himself doesn't seem to be interested in agriculture along these lines. Very briefly, what do you think is going on there? We don't like getting our hands dirty or what? Metaphorically speaking.
Already the hands are dirty. Really. These politicians, they make a lot of money. And they are the people who are supposed to be involved directly with farming. But they created myths. You have a rice mill. You don't have a rice farm. You are waiting for a smuggler to bring paddy from Benin Republic. Look at this.
Well,
this is what happens.
That is
we
what
have so many alternatives. But the paddy is not there. We are bringing paddy, smuggled paddy from Benin Republic.
Well,
luckily, we don't smuggle anything out to Benin Republic.
We're gonna have to leave it there, sir. But I want to thank you very much, Mr. Bello Alkali, Chief Lecturer, Waziri Umaru Federal Polytechnic, Birnin Kebbi, for coming on our program today and airing this particular topic. Thank you very much, sir.
Grateful, thank you.
All right.